We begin in Spain in the year 1485. One can hear the screams of a woman in a dungeon. The woman is being harmed by what appears to be several monks. One of them throws some books into the fire and then puts something into a macabre box. The scene shifts to the present, and the youth are enjoying the beaches of northern Spain. We meet the tourist Jason, who admires a beautiful woman named Erica. With him is his friend Tomas, who asks them to hurry to find their other friend. Meanwhile, at the local cemetery, we meet Detective Iser, who receives a call asking him to check on a discovery. A body in an advanced state of decomposition has been found, with marks of lacerations. This shocks him, and he soon deduces it was a crime. Not far from there, we see a wheelchair user without both legs, and he carries the box seen at the beginning. Back to Jason, we see he is with a friend named Lisa, whom Tomas is interested in. Then the three go to the local fair. Jason walks alone and goes to a place that seems to be a fortune teller or something like that, as there are many old and strange things for sale. Soon, Jason meets the owner, the wheelchair user named Malik. He tells about plagues and voodoo, which Jason does not believe, and Malik insults him for that. However, upon seeing a strange dragonfly landing on a mask, Malik apologizes to Jason and offers a game called Mamba. He calls Rabib, who brings the box to the young man, saying he will give it to him as a gift. After accepting, Jason takes it and shows it to his friends. The game has pieces resembling monster gargoyles, cards, writings, and dice. Jason closes the box, and then his friends jokingly tell him to throw it away, believing it to be something despicable. Jason says he was told it was something built in the 14th century. Later, the group meets a group of young people at a beach house and participates in a party. However, Jason observes the game alone before Erica approaches him. They introduce themselves and talk a little. She becomes interested in the game and asks if it has anything to do with black or light magic, but Jason does not know how to answer, but says what he knows is that the winner grants the desire of the heart. She then asks them to start a game, not really knowing how the rules work. Meanwhile, after talking with Lisa, Elena confronts Tomas for promising her a paradise, just like he did with Lisa. He is a man who likes to date a lot, and with an excuse, he wins Elena back, and they begin a romantic connection. When Lisa starts nearing the compartment where Tomas is, a lightning bolt strikes nearby and causes a blackout. Lisa enters the space and finds her boyfriend there with Elena, who claims she only came to get a drink. A heavy rain begins, and everyone goes back home. Minutes after introducing the game, Jason and some friends start a game and convince Lisa to participate. Jason and Erica, after observing the game, explain that no one plays against each other, and the rule is to play against the creepy board itself. In the center of the board are two snake heads carved, both with their mouths open. The flirtatious Tomas wants to start the game and throws the dice. On his first roll, he lands on a safe position, but on the next round, he loses. Then Jason throws the dice, and his number makes him pick a card that says someone's head explodes, but he is safe. The next turn is Pablo, who also draws a card, and it states that he will leave the road, be thrown into the sea, creatures will emerge, and there will be his end. The youths interpret that as the end of the game for the guy, who leaves upset. Tomas, wanting to drink more, asks Pablo to buy more bottles of drink and offers his car to his friend. Erica plays and finds herself in trouble in the game, but the card says she is safe as long as she does not forget the goat. The next player is Miguel, who ends up rolling poorly. The card states that from the ground will arise sweet kisses that will reach him, and that will be his end. He also is out of the game. While the friends play, Pablo drives to the city listening to loud music in the car, but decides to stop at the edge of a cliff to urinate. Suddenly, he hears incomprehensible whispers. Soon, a dragonfly appears behind him and scares him, causing him to fall from the cliff. He holds on to the barbed wire, but his weight causes him to fall to his death. However, he does not die, but as indicated by the board's card, sea creatures will take him. Several crabs emerge and begin to tear parts of him, sealing his end. It does not take long for the night patrol to find his body, and after identifying who the deceased is, Izar decides to go to the friend's house. Meanwhile, the group of young people continues playing, and in some rounds everyone stays safe, but in others, they lose, confirming their defeats. The group continues the game when minutes later the police arrive at the house and Tomas receives them. He is notified of his friend's death and is summoned to the precinct. The next day, the group goes to their friend's funeral, unable to believe what has happened. After the farewell, Erica talks to Jason and asks about the card drawn by their friend, which was something symbolic, but something very similar happened in real life. Jason does not believe something mystical can have occurred. After the conversation, she asks for a ride to her home near the lighthouse. Hours later, we see friends Tomas and Miguel meeting at a lumberyard for a photo shoot of the model Lisa. While the photo shoot is taking place, a voice whispers among the logs, and Miguel looks strangely, staring intently at the beautiful Lisa. Before long, the same dragonfly appears and seemingly touches Lisa, who immediately becomes disheartened and asks to end the shoot. When the trio returns to the car, we see that Lisa becomes tense and feels unwell. She asks Tomas to take her home. After the two leave, Miguel ends up finding a photo of the model and takes it for himself. When he enters his family's metal workshop, he feels a macabre presence but does not give it much thought, not even when the door suddenly slams shut. He drops the photo into the wood saw, and when he goes to retrieve it, he nearly dies as the equipment turns on by itself. Fortunately, he escapes, finding it all strange and leaving the place. He heads to where the logs are when some snakes attack and bite him, just as the card said that sweet poisonous kisses would touch him, but there would be his end. Frightened, he climbs on the logs, but already poisoned, falls onto hundreds of venomous snakes. Meanwhile, the couple Jason and Erica admire the sea and soon end up starting a romance. Minutes later, they go to enjoy the waves of the region, while in the morgue, Detective Izar goes to check on another horrible death. Miguel's body has been recovered, and the doctor identified multiple bites from what appeared to be a black mamba, something very strange, as there was no such reptile species in their region. On the road returning home, Jason has an hallucination of his friends and brakes the car abruptly. When Erica also looks back, she sees that the appearance of the dead friends is macabre. Once they return home, they find Tomas and Lisa, who are crying, as they saw the lamentable state of their friend. Erica confronts her friends about the card that the deceased friend drew, and its death has a connection with it. Elena does not believe it can be real, but Jason, already fearing the magic of the board, explains that the cards seem to predict what will happen, or are indeed a death sentence for those who play them. Tomas is also incredulous about the board being some type of curse, but Jason convinces him that something macabre is occurring among them. Curious and worried, they go to research the game, and end up discovering that the board was made entirely from the blood and parts of a witch who was captured, judged, and brutally killed a long time ago. Jason discovers that the board has the power to make what is written on the cards come true, but also grants the wish that the winner desires. Now aware of the danger of the board, Jason takes the game to burn it, but as he is doing so, he realizes his nose is bleeding. This was the realization of his card, which said a head explodes, but he would remain safe. Meanwhile, in Tomas's room, Lisa notices her hair is falling out, and her boyfriend thinks she is just sick. She thinks it must be something about the game, but he comforts her saying it isn't and goes out to make tea. The next morning, when Tomas wakes up, he discovers that beside him is an elderly Lisa. He quickly takes her to the hospital and also calls Detective Izar, who finds the friends in the hallway and questions them about the game their friend talked about. Jason asserts that he has the board at his house, but that at the moment he will go see his friend. When the group enters the ward, they see the elderly Lisa, now an old woman on the verge of death. In disbelief, Elena leaves the room and goes downstairs. She heads to the morgue and is shocked to see her dead friend. However, she is found by Tomas. Scared by the events, Elena leaves the hospital and says she will return to her family in Milan before the worst happens to her. In the hospital bed, Erica and Jason are with Lisa, but it does not take long before the elderly Lisa dies, fulfilling what her card said, by one side of the mirror the beauty, until darkness saps her vitality. After the death of their friend, the trio returns to Malik's antique store, but nothing is found there, as it seems to have been abandoned recently. They take a tour of the town and look for Malik, and one of the people tells them where the man lives. Still on the road, Elena drives distractedly, not remembering that her card stated that one morning she would raise a smoke to the heights that would be seen from far away. A truck on the road causes an accident and knocks down poles, leaving the high-tension wires weak. When Elena distracts herself calling her mother, she does not notice the truck blocking the road, and when she does, it is too late to swerve. She flips the vehicle, which comes to a stop near the truck loaded with fuel. Unfortunately, she does not escape, and an electric spark ignites the fire, resulting in a large explosion that destroys everything around and generates a high smoke, just as it states on the card. The trio heads to an abandoned house away from the city and enters the residence, which also seems to have been abandoned, including the wheelchair. Suddenly, what was once a wheelchair user Malik appears on his feet in front of them, leaving Jason confused. The man tries to chase them away, but Jason realizes that the man's desire was to walk with his legs, and this has come true for him, as he previously won in the game. Jason asks for help, but the man does not wish to help and forces a fight with them until Tomas knocks him out. When the man awakens, he is confronted about the game. Malik says that his brother introduced him to the game, which forced him to play to win back his legs. Unfortunately, his brother played and lost, and the only winner kept the board. However, the winner must pass on the game for the wish to be realized. Jason states that he and Erica have not lost yet, but Malik insists he cannot do anything for them, and says that whoever loses the game will certainly die in real life. As they return home on the road, they again pass through the specters of their friends, and Elena is among them. Tomas claims he is next, but Jason says he will finish the game. However, Erica says there is no guarantee that he will win against the board. When the group arrives home, they find the detective searching for the game, as he knew of the powers it could give. When questioned about where the board was, the friends state they threw it in the sea. They ask Izar why he wanted the board, as the game could lead to death. Izar states he is already dead, so it does not make a difference if he plays. The detective threatens them with his gun and forces Jason to hand over Mamba. However, Tomas fights against the officer and helps his friends escape, but he is arrested. Erica takes Jason to the lighthouse where her home is, while Izar takes Tomas in the trunk to a junkyard near the sea, and there forces him to dig his own grave. While Tomas digs, Izar tells the man that he lost his wife and child, and wishes to bring them back to life. Back at Erica's house, the duo restarts the game, and for a few rounds, they stay safe with Jason. However, after rolling the dice again, she draws a card that states she would be cast into the depths, where she would be absolved of her sins in the fire, but also be dissolved. While they play, thousands of dragonflies surround the lighthouse awaiting Jason's last move. He must roll a high number, above 9, and when he rolls the dice, he wins with the number 11. The book says that for him to win, he must choose one of the snake heads and throw the dice inside. One has the engraving time and the other space. If he chooses correctly, then he will have the right to a wish. Otherwise, he will have a painful death. Jason, according to the game rules, can ask the snakes something and they will tell him something, but he must be aware that one will tell the truth while the other lies. He then reflects a little with Erica and chooses the snake head to throw the dice. However, at the end of the board comes another piece. Jason's cell phone rings and he answers. Tomas asks his friend to trade the game for his life, as the detective will kill him if Jason does not do what he wants. But Tomas, fearing for his life, picks up the spade and hits the detective, who retaliates and shoots him, thus causing his death. As the card said, that what has eyes but does not see would be left to the worms and serve as food for the trees. At the lighthouse, Jason and Erica observe that thousands of dragonflies surround the place, and frightened, they immediately leave. They go to Tomas's beach house and realize that the wish has not been granted. Erica then states that she knows the reason. The game only ends when everything written in the cards comes true, and her card is still pending. So what remains to happen is Erica's death, so Jason can make the wish. He does not accept this condition and throws the board into the sea, then embraces his friend. Minutes later, he falls asleep, and when he wakes up, he does not find Erica, as she has gone to the sea, knowing that there would be her end, and Jason cannot do anything to save her. On the beach sand, he finds the game and recovers it. However, he is surprised by Izar, who, armed, holds him at gunpoint and takes the game Mamba for himself. He threatens Jason with the gun, but the man does not care about dying. However, when Izar sees a strange specter emerging from the sea, he backs away from the place. Jason, on the other hand, stays to admire the scene. He sees a beautiful woman emerging from the sea, and soon he comes face to face with the macabre spirit of the witch Mamba in the appearance of Erica. She came to fulfill Jason's wish, and so as he requests, so it will be realized. He wishes it to be a week before, and that he did not find the game, and that his friends are alive. Then, hundreds of dragonflies consume him, and suddenly, he returns to consciousness in his bed a week earlier, where everything is as it was. However, only he remembers what really happened and what could happen if he picks up the game, Mamba.